Can you see my screen and hear me? Just want to know if you guys are able to see me, hear my screen and hear me. So we will wait for a little bit before we begin the webinar. Alright? Alright, thank you TY. Okay, wait for 2 more minutes before we begin the webinar, alright? So that everybody will be able to catch up. Okay, let's begin the webinar. Alright, welcome back to another IC Markets Global webinar, and we will be going through the pre-market live analysis today. Okay, so just a disclaimer, remember that everything in this webinar is educational in nature and nothing should be everything should be good as so remember that you are able to this is just a disclaimer. Alright, so let's move on. So for the agenda, firstly we will go through high impact news events for the week, and secondly key technical setups to watch out for. So it will be a very chill pre-market live analysis. Alright, okay, so I'm your host for today. My name is Woon and I'll be going through with you today's pre-market live analysis. Okay, so for the key news events for this coming week ahead. Alright, when Monday we will have the Euro French Flash Manufacturing PMI as well as the French Flash Services PMI. And next we have the Euro German Flash Manufacturing and Services PMI, as well as the GBP Flash Manufacturing and Services PMI. Okay, next we will have the USD Flash Manufacturing and Services PMI. Alright, so for this news, basically it will not have much volatility in markets, but of course since it is a high impact news, so please remember to remember that all of this news, right, even though for the history wise you will not be able to see much volatility, but you still have to be careful. Alright, okay, so for Tuesday we have the CAD CPI, okay, as well as the GBP Governor Bailey speaking, and USD Fed Chair Powell testifying. Alright, so this you have to be careful for Tuesday's news. Alright, since we have the CAD CPI, GBP Governor Bailey speaking, as well as Fed Chair Powell speaking. Okay, so for Wednesday we have the AUD CPI as well as the USD Fed Chair Powell speaking as well. Alright. And for Thursday, we have GBP Governor Bailey speaking again. Okay, so we also have USD final GDP as well as the USD unemployment claims. Alright, so for the USD unemployment claims, basically you will have to be careful for the for this timing on Thursday. Alright, because as we all know, USD unemployment claims news will shift the markets quite a bit, as well as the GDP news. Okay, and for Friday, we have the CAD GDP and USD Core PCE Price Index. Alright, so these are the news that you would have to be careful of. Okay. Alright, so let's go to the exciting part. Okay, let me go to this. Okay, so for right now, right, we are on the DXY news. Sorry, DXY daily chart. Okay, so what we are looking at right now is, okay, let me zoom in here a little bit. Okay, we can see that it is a downtrend, right? We have 1 point, 2 point, and we have a breakout from here. Okay, since we have a breakout from here, what we are looking at is a push up from this pivot point over here. Okay, so let me redraw this. Alright, we have the okay, we have the downtrend, and we will change this to bullish trend line. Alright, because we already have a breakout towards the upside. Okay, so since we have a breakout to the upside, okay, we'll mark this as our pivot point. Okay, and we will put this as our support line. First support. Okay, first support, because this is a previous low, and we will put it at the body of the candlestick. Alright, and as for the resistance, we will mark this as our resistance line. Okay, why we have chosen this as our resistance line? Because we have multiple touches here, meaning that price would face an obstacle around this area. Okay, alright, then we will mark a, will let us look whether we can find a Fibo retracement level. Okay, which is at the 38.2% Fibo retracement level over here. Okay, so oops, where is my okay, so let us see. Yep. Alright, so this is what we are looking at for DXY. Alright, so let us mark as bullish. Okay, so right now price is having a price is coming down towards our pivot point, right? If you look at the H4, it has already retraced upwards, but price is coming down. Price seems like it is coming down towards our pivot point again. Alright, so if price is coming down towards our pivot point, right, at this level over here, right, and it closes above the pivot point, meaning that the body of the candlestick is above this pivot point, we shall enter buys. Okay, hope you guys can see clearly. Okay, next, oh yes, so remember that every for example, you guys want to see any pairs, right, please feel free to type it in the chat box below, and I will attend to your questions, as well as all the pairs that you guys want to go through. Alright, so let us move on to the USD pair. Okay, for the USD pair, let us see. Okay, so price is now in a very bullish state. Okay, right now, since price is in a bullish state, what I want to look for is buys over here. Okay, why buys? Because we want to follow the trend. Okay, so let us see pivot. Okay, then this will be our, this shall be our, let me see, yeah, this is better. Alright, this shall be our support line. And where is our pivot? Let us see. Okay, this shall be our resistance line. Okay, so let us see. Let me go through a little bit. Okay, I think this is fine. Wait, let me see. I think this is better. Price is going up. What we want to look for is this level. Yeah, I think this is better. Alright, so we shall use this as our pivot point because, right, we have multiple touches over here, and we shall use this as our resistance point. This is our multi-resistance level over here. Okay, then if you go back to the chart over here, we can see although price has already tapped this level of support, hence we shall not use this as our pivot point, right? Instead, we can look for sells over here to trade off the resistance level. Okay, so let us use this as our support level over here. Okay, right, let me see if we are able to find. Okay, I think we are able to find a okay, we shall use this as our resistance level. Okay, as well as let me see if we can find the Fibo extension level to add on the confluence. 127 and 168. Yep, just nice. Okay, so we have two levels, right? One, we are looking for sales at the pivot point right here. Okay, because we have the 127.2% Fibo extension level, as well as the 78.6% Fibo projection level right here. So this acts as a Fibo confluence level. Alright, and as for resistance, over here we have the 161.8% Fibo extension level. Alright, so we might be able to see a sell off from the pivot point over here, right about to this first support level. Okay, because this aligns with our DXY confluence over here, right? If we are looking for sales for euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, right? Then DXY will have a rebound over here. Alright, let's move on to the next. Okay, so this is a sell off and we shall put it as a question mark. Okay, next let us look at GBP USD. Okay, for GBP USD, right, since we want to have proper confluence, let us take a look at where are the next levels that we can sell off from here. Okay, let's see. How many pips is this? Okay, I think this is fine. Let me see. We already have a rejection off here. Might be able to look for buys over here. Okay, let me see. Okay. Alright, I think for GBP USD, right, what we can look for is actually buys, right? Might be a bit contradicting, but we might be able to see a push up from here. Alright, because let's see if we are able to find a Fibo retracement level. Okay, all fips, yep. We already have a sell off price. Okay, I think this is fine. Okay. Alright, so right here, why I would choose this as my level to buy, because we can see right here that price has already rejected off this minor pullback resistance level. Alright, then we are expecting price to come down towards our pivot point. From there, we can have a push upwards towards this resistance level over here. Okay, so this is my thoughts, right? Because even though it might seem a little bit contradicting, right? Euro dollar, we are looking for sells, but we can take short-term buys for GBP USD towards the upside again. Alright, and why this is a good level to buy from, because or rather good level for price to bounce off this pivot point, because it aligns with the 61.8% Fibo retracement level over here. Okay, so this is what I am looking at. And as for my support, right, my support will be at this level over here. This is my support. Alright, and as for my resistance, I will take this multi-swing high level as my resistance level over here. first resistance. Okay, then let me see. Let me see if price is able to look for oh, we also have 100% Fibo projection level. Okay, so let me see top. Yeah, okay, so right here at our pivot point, we actually have this 61.8% right here. If you guys can see, 61.8% Fibo retracement level, as well as 100% Fibo projection level over here, and we are looking for a bounce towards this first resistance level over here. Okay, so let us put it at okay. I think this is pretty straightforward for GBP USD, right? Because we already have Fibo confluence at this level right here. And also, just one trick for you guys to know, right? If we have a push upwards from this level, right, and then we have a bullish engulfing candle followed by 3 consecutive bullish candle, right? So this level is a extra confluence for myself to know that this point is a good area for price to push upwards. Okay, push at least to push towards our first resistance level over here. Okay, so let's move on to the next pair, which is AUD USD, because we also have news for AUD USD. Okay, for AUD USD, it has been consolidating much over the past since April actually, right? Price has been relatively close, right? We didn't have much movements since April. Okay, so what we can look at is buys. Okay, so let me see, this is a pretty straightforward buy level over here, pivot point. All right, let me see. Okay, I think this is a pretty decent pivot point instead. Alright, then we shall use this as our support. Okay, because price has been, let me show you guys, price has been rather in this range. So once price reaches our pivot point, most likely it will, because price, you look at price has been coming down. So what we are expecting is for price to react off this channel as well as the pivot point to at least come back towards this top of the channel over here. Okay, this is what I am looking at. Alright, then let me see if we are able to find any projection. Okay, we have the 100% Fibo projection over here as well. Let me mark this out, bottom. Okay, so right here I think it's pretty straightforward, right? We have a pivot point and the bottom of the channel as well as the 100% Fibo projection level. Oh yes, herein, we are going through AUD USD right now. Okay, so just to make sure that you manage to catch what I said, right? So right here, I chose this pivot point is because number one, we are in a parallel channel right now, right? Okay, a bullish channel. So we are expecting for price to at least come down towards this support level right here to have a bounce towards the top of the channel over here. Okay, because AUD USD has been within this channel since April actually, right? So it has been more than actually it has been almost 2 months, right? Okay, so this is what we are looking at. And as for the support, right, we are looking at this first support level over here, okay, which is a overlap support level. Alright, and as for our resistance point will be this very nice very nice overlap resistance level. Okay, so this is our resistance point. Okay, then let me mark this out as bullish. Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward in a sense. Alright, hope it is clear for you, Ren. Okay, let's move on to a NZD USD. Okay, so for NZD USD, another thing is it is pretty straightforward as well. Okay, let me remove all these drawings and let me just mark this out because I believe this is our pivot point. Okay, and as for our support, this is our support level over here. Okay, this is our first support and this is our first resistance. Okay, so why I've chosen this as our first support is because why I've chosen this as our pivot point is because it is a overlap support level and price seems like it's and we are in an uptrend, so this is just a somewhat a pullback level. Okay, and let's see if we are able to find any feeble confluence. Okay, so this aligns very nicely with our 61.8% feeble retracement level, so this adds extra confluence for us. Alright, okay, let me see if I'm able to find a 78.6. Okay, I think this is fine. Okay, pretty straightforward trade for NZD USD. Alright, as for USD CHF, okay, let me see. USD CHF 1725. Okay, 1725 is fine. Let me see. Oh man, price has already bounced up from here. Let me see. Okay, since we are in a very bearish downtrend, okay, let's look for sell off. Alright, so since we are in a bearish trend line, bearish trend line dotted, okay, then what we are looking at is for a sell off from here, pivot point, and as for our resistance, we shall use this high. Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward. Then for our support level, we will put our support level over here. Okay, why I've chosen this as our pivot point is because number one, we are in a bearish trend, right? We have a bearish trend line as well as this multi swing high resistance level over here, right? So there is a possibility for a, you see, if price has already broken this level, right? You can see market structure very clearly. Okay, price has broken structure over here. All right, this is just a pullback towards the upside and a potential sell off from here. Okay, so this is what I am looking at. Okay, let me see if we are able to find, let me see. Thanks my man, but I'm not an uncle. Okay, so do I look that old? Alright, so okay, yes, I think so it's pretty straightforward for USD CHF. Alright, so far so good. Okay, any pairs that you guys want me to go through with you, please feel free to type it in the chat box and I will go through the pairs along with you guys. Alright, let me see. Okay, this is fine. Okay, USD JPY. Okay, let's move on to USD JPY. Alright, so price is now trying to break past this resistance level over here, but let's take a look at where okay, I think instead of sells, let's look for buys instead, right? It only makes sense for price to come back down, right? Because we have a successful breakout, all right, and we are waiting for price to at least come back down to our pivot point before a potential buy opportunity. All right, because if you realize, right, if you sell here, a lot of people will try to sell here. It might work, but it most likely is just to take out liquidity over here, right? If you see all these long wicks over here, right, it is bound to be taken out by price action. All right, and as for here, right, it's a potential sell off as well, but we don't have any confluence over here, right? So I would rather take buys over here to continue the upside trend, right? Why? Because if you look at price action, right, price has already broken past this high, so we are projecting for price to come down towards this level, this pullback support, and for price to at least reach this level over here. Okay, I think it's pretty straightforward. BTC USD, okay, sure. Alright, so let me see. Yeah, okay, then our support shall be, I think this is good enough for our support level over here. For support, okay, and as for resistance, we will place this as our resistance level over here. Okay, I think this is pretty straightforward for USD JPY. Okay, then let's take a look at this is buys. Euro JPY. Okay, sure. I'll go through Euro JPY after BTC USD. All right. Okay. Okay. So far, I think so far so good, right? Let's see, 38.2. Okay, I think this is fine. We have a 38.2% Fibo retracement level as well. Okay. So let's move on to BTC USD. Oh wow. Oh, what a sell-off from here. My goodness. Do you guys see this, right? BTC USD, just 1 week ago, it was at 100k, right? Actually, 1 week ago, yeah. If you're talking about exactly 1 week ago, 104,000, right? But after that, look at price, it is at 98,000 right now. Okay, so I think it's a good opportunity for buys over here. Let's see. Oh wow, this is exciting. Okay, let me see where are good opportunities for. Oh wow, this, I think this is a pretty solid buy opportunity over here. Okay, I would say this range, right, from 96 to 94, right, will be a good range for buys. But of course, I would to refine it a little bit further. Okay, this will be a good level for price to bounce off from. Okay, it could be here as well, right? That's why I said 96, 96859. Okay, 96859 will be a good opportunity, but to refine it a little bit further, 94184. Okay, this range will be the range that price would potentially bounce off from here. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think this is fine. Let's see. Okay, let's use this as our pivot point, and let's use this as our support. Yeah, I think this makes more sense. Alright, so these are two levels that you guys can actually look out for. Alright, this is my first support. Oh, sorry, this is my first support. Okay, so this level, this pivot point, right, it might be a good opportunity for price to bounce off from here, but of course you will want price to close above this pivot point before it actually bounces off. Alright, and as for our first support, okay, it is a overlap support level, so this could be another opportunity for buys as well. So I would recommend you to DCA into BTC USD. Use smaller lot size, right, but you are scaling your buys. Alright, because these are all great opportunities to buy from. Okay, and as for our, let me see if we are able to find a extension. Yep, pretty much 127168. Okay, okay, so right here at our pivot point 96981, it is a pullback support level aligning with the 127.2% Fibo extension level over here. Alright, so this is what we are looking at, and let's see if we are able to find any Fibo retracement level as extra confluence. Alright, so we also have the 38.2% for our pivot point to act as Fibo confluence. Oh yes, sure, no worries. Okay, let me see. Okay, pivot. Oh, why is this in black? Let me put it in white. Okay, and opacity. Let me put it a little bit bigger, alright? Okay, number one, pivot point. Uh, 96981. First support, overlap support. Oops. 92786. Okay, so these numbers are just a gauge. Alright, and as for our resistance, I think we shall use this as our resistance point. Okay, I think this is pretty straightforward. Okay, then our resistance point. No worries. Let me add on the first resistance. Okay. Pullback resistance. what's the number? 1012052. Okay, so these are the levels. Yeah, you can take a screenshot or something, right? I think this will be pretty good. Okay, yeah. Okay, if it is, yeah, Jordan, have you taken a screenshot of this text? If yes, then I can remove it. Okay. Alright, so this is, oh yes, almost forgot to put this right here. Okay, and this over here. Okay, so let's move on to USD CAD. Okay, so USD CAD is actually in a bearish trend, but it is recovering. Yeah, sure, of course, no worries. You're welcome. Okay, so what I am looking at essentially for USD CAD is let me see. I think this is fine, but okay. Yep, since we have a breakout over here, usually, okay, so if you guys realize my style is that I would like to wait for a breakout, and then I will wait for the retest and enter off the retest. Okay, so right here, if I were to simply mark out these levels, right, first support, and then this is my pivot point. Pivot point, why? Because price has broken out this level over here, right? So I'm expecting for price to come up to this, at least this high over here. All right, so it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Okay, so this is my first resistance. Okay, let me see. Should be 161 point. Yeah, very nicely. Okay, let me see. Yeah, 161.8. Our resistance aligns with the 161.8% Fibo extension level over here. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. Let me see. Okay, so we are looking for a bounce off this pivot point, right, after a retest. All right. So far, if it's okay if you miss a trade, right, it's fine. Okay, so what we are looking at is we are waiting for a retest, okay, and then we enter off the pivot point. All right, now for the exciting part, let's move on to gold. All right, so gold right now, if you guys realize, right, the US has already launched, if you guys watch the news, the US has already launched an attack, right, for the war between Iran and Israel. Okay, so the US is involved. All right, so when we have such geopolitical wars right now, right, gold will potentially fly, right, it will actually become bullish. So that has been happening since COVID times, as well as the Ukraine war, right, all these instances. Okay, so once we have like pandemic, once we have geopolitical things happening around the world, right, gold is a safe haven asset, meaning that it will actually become bullish. Okay, so what we are looking at is actually for a bounce of this level right here. Okay, hopefully price will still continue to come down, but from what I am seeing, price might not actually bounce off from here, right, since we already see such a huge rejection candle. Okay, so let's just wait patiently and see how gold might react to this level over here. Okay, and as for our support, right, we will place this support at this level over here, which is a overlap support area. Okay, and as for our resistance, we are actually looking at for price to come up to this high over here, right? So potentially I think gold has good potential during this period to actually reach this high or to create a newer high. Alright, so let's see if we are able to find a price has really moved up from here. Okay, it's fine. Let me see. This we are unable to use this. Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward for gold. Okay, and this is okay. This is for gold. All right. And let's take a look at oil. Okay, so for oil, what we are looking at right now, oil has been recovering since earlier this June, right? So since oil is recovering, okay, we could potentially expect a pullback from here, right? We could potentially expect a pullback at least to $71 per barrel, all right, for crude oil. Okay, so this is our pivot point, and as for our let's see okay, it's $80. We shall follow the trend. All right, so let's see. This is our pivot point, this is our resistance. Okay, one thing I don't really like about this trade is that for my first support, right, it might be a little bit awkward because we don't really have any reference around here. So we might have to take this level over here. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think this is no choice, right? Okay, 71. Yeah, so let's see if price is able to have a pullback to go towards the pullback towards our pivot point and then go towards a newer high. Okay, so this is oil trade. Let me see. Okay, 38.2. $23.6 and 50. Okay, yeah, this is pretty straightforward for oil. Okay, so we are left with a few more minutes, so let's go through the rest of the indices and then we can go through. Okay, why not let's go through Euro JPY for run. Okay, so wow, oh my goodness, Euro JPY is on a rise. Okay, I think this trade is pretty simple, right? Why I would say it's simple is because potentially I am looking for a level to buy from here. Oh, but it already had a pullback. Okay, let's look at another level. I think this is fine. We can still use this as our pivot point, and then for our support, right, we can use this as our support level. Okay, then for our resistance will be right here. Okay, you can see right now price is actually at our resistance level over here. Okay, initially I would want to put this as my pivot point, but if I were to change this to my pivot point, my resistance level will be at a very awkward level over here. Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's shift this pivot point over here. Okay, then our support will be at this level. Yeah, I think it's fine. This is okay. Let's see if we are able to find 161. Price has already crossed it. Okay, let's see. Is this a... oh, nice. Okay. Okay, 51, 71, 78.6%. Okay, this is fine. Alright, then let me see. Yeah, so okay, this trade you will have to be very careful because price is now super bullish, right? We have a very huge bullish candle over here, right? So although this could be a potential sell off from here, but try to wait for maybe Monday or Tuesday, right, and see how it goes from here. Because if you guys remember, we have Euro news on Monday itself already. Alright, so this is something that you have to be careful of. Alright, okay, I think this is pretty. If we go to weekly, I think this is okay. Let me see. Yeah, don't work well. Okay, this is for Euro JPY. Okay, Ren, is that okay? Yeah, please be careful for Euro JPY. Alright, even though this is a nice area to sell off because it is a pullback resistance level, but I think the safer option would be to sell off at 170, this level over here. Okay, alright, so let's go through US30. Alright, let's go through US30. Okay, this is pretty fun. US30 right now, right? Okay, let's see here. Okay, we want to stick with the trend, so let's go with buys. Alright, we want to stick with the trend, so let's go with buys over here. So our pivot point will actually be here. Okay, and as for our support, right, I think this is fine for our support level, even though it's a bit close, but I think it's fine. And then for our resistance will be around here. Okay, then let's see if we are able to find, I think it's 78.6. yeah, 78.6. Okay, then let me see if I'm able to find another Fibo retracement level. Nope. Okay, this is not. Okay, let me see. %. Oh, nice. Okay, so we have we have the 100% Fibo projection level, as well as the 78.6% Fibo retracement level over here. Wait, let me see. I think this should be bottom. Okay, yeah. So this is a pretty nice trade for US30. Let's see if it actually comes back down and bounces up from here. Alright. Let's see. Bullish arrow. Alright, then we will see. Okay, I think US30 generally we have recovered from April's previous low because of the tariffs, right? So let's see. Oh yes, welcome Ren. Thank you for the compliment. Alright. Yeah, so I think if price actually comes back down to this pivot point, it'll be a super great opportunity because we have number one, pullback support, number two, 78.6% Fibo retracement level, and number three, we have 100% Fibo projection level over here. So it will be a pretty good trade to take off from here because we have multi Fibo confluence. Alright, at least to first resistance level. Okay, so let's go through the last trade, which is actually US 500, which is S&P 500. Okay, so for S&P 500, it has been struggling, right? You see last week it has been struggling to come up towards 6150, which is the all-time high. Okay, so let's see if we are able to look for potential buys. Okay, so I think this is a pretty nice level for our pivot point, right, at 5795. Okay, this is a pretty nice level for our pivot point, and then as for our support, we can choose this as our swing low support level over here. Alright, then as for our resistance, at least towards this high at 6100. Okay, resistance. Okay, then now let's look at any Fibo retracement level. Yes, we have found one, which is 78.6% Fibo retracement level over here. Okay, so potentially you are looking at a bounce towards the upside from this pivot point over here. Okay, so I would say if you guys want to trade trade S&P 500, right, you might want to wait until price reaches at least 5820, okay, before you start to DCA into your trades. Okay, and then of course you want to have a stop loss of below 5740, slightly below 5740. I think it will be good. Okay, so far so good. Alright, any questions so far? Right, if you guys don't have any questions, right, I would end off this session right here. Okay, so maybe let's wait for 2 more minutes before I end off the session. Alright, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to type it in the chat box and I will attend to you. If not, I will end off the live session right now. Okay, that's all from me to you guys. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the session, and yes, please remember to attend, or if you guys want to, right, do remember that we have this every Sunday, so remember to tune in to the pre-market live analysis. Alright, okay, so please remember to stay safe and trade safe. Alright, that's all from me. Take care, bye bye.